to another beautiful Sunday afternoon. This is Rubbing Minds. Welcome. My name is Japheth Omojuwa, and great to have you here as usual. And of course, we're going to be starting, as we always do, with the week that was. And I have here with me to talk about it Japheth Omojuwa, Global Shaper with the World Economic Forum. Yeah. You're very welcome, amongst many other things. Thanks for being here today. And we're going to start on not very interesting news. It's been 2 weeks now, I think, over 10 or 11 days now since secondary school girls were abducted in a town in Maiduguri, in Borno State, called Chibok. And there doesn't seem to be any headway still, besides those who managed to escape on their own. Where are we with things right now?
Where we were when the girls were taken, nothing had happened. Thank God for the international press and a bit of Nigerian press that they've kept it on the front burner. But if not for them, we'll probably not even be talking about this now. Nigerians, as you can see, a lot of people have moved on.
Yeah, I saw someone tweet yesterday, or was it this morning? Or yesterday, actually, about the fact that the Foreign Secretary of the United Kingdom has spoken more about this than Mr. President.
Yeah.
Do you think it's a conscious effort by him not to say anything and let things take its course?
There are two sides to it. There is the side of the president. He's not going to let out all the efforts, all the plans, all the security details they're doing. So that's understandable. But then there is the side of the leader that needs to keep people motivated, that needs to keep people inspired, that needs to drive, because there's an atmosphere of paranoia, of fear around the country. So he has to do that. He has to come out and say, look, he has to speak something towards the terrorists, say, look, we will get you, but in a very smart way, not just blabbing. Then to the people, he has to say, look, go about your businesses. So he's not really doing that part of it. But I want to believe that on the security side, behind the scenes, I really want to believe and hope that something is happening.
Yeah, speaking about something happening now, something that has come up a lot in the last week is thanks to the fact that those girls who have escaped, why haven't they helped, the investigators go back or trace their steps back to where this thing is happening? Why is it? Do you think it's possible that we know where they are, but nobody can go in?
If they are helping, we're not supposed to know, because once they start speaking to everyone, if we all know what they've told the security guys, then the other guys are going to know about it. So I'm pretty sure that they are saying one or two things. And then do not forget that these guys are experts at what they do, the evil that they commit. They are not going to stay on one spot. They are going to be very careful. They know that people have escaped. They know that information is out there. So they're going to do everything to make sure that this, and don't forget, this is an abduction thing. It's not something you just go and say, give us the children, and then it's going to be some very, very technical, some very, very psychological, a lot. So it's going to be really difficult, because these guys are animals. They are irrational. They could kill all the children if they see that the pressure is too much. So it's something that is not just some press a switch thing. It's a very, very, very dicey thing that we really have to be careful about. So if we're not getting too much information, I don't want to believe it, because we're not supposed to. It's not when it comes to security, it's not everything you let out. But it's really important, though, to let people know that things in a way are under control, which really I'm not seeing any of.
But an enlarged National Security Council meeting was held a couple of days ago, enlarged in quote, because they kept using that word. I don't know why. And I know the missing girls issue did come up, because most of the governors who gave a press conference after the meeting mentioned the fact that the military had been mandated to go forth and bring these girls back. It's been about 4 days since then. And the military, I'm not trying to indict the military in any way, but do you think this is beyond them? Because it's taken 2 weeks now.
I think the strength of a military, no matter what you think, is always going to be based on the strength of the political system. If politicians, from the president down to the councillor, if politicians undermine the military would be weak, because the military are subject to these guys. They are the ones that give the final order. Do not forget that the commander-in-chief is a politician, is the president. And so if you have your enlarged meeting, and your enlarged meeting is not committed, really, really committed to you guys working together, the enlarged meeting is just going to be enlarged nonsense, and nothing is going to happen at the end of the day. It's really, really and truly about knowing that whether they are APC or PDP or LP or whatever they call themselves, to understand that these are Nigerians first of all. And when we were born, nobody was born a PDP, nobody was born an APC, nobody was born a politician. We were born Nigerians. These are human beings, and they have to lay everything on the table. And I think the only thing that meeting seemed to achieve was to give us an indication that the parties, the political parties, the governors from the different ends can work together. That working together, we haven't seen yet.
The results, yeah. What do you think is the headway from this now? What are some of the options we can explore? I don't know.
First of all, we have to understand that we are at war. There is no caressing the reality. We are at war. Second of all, we need to stop listening to people, no matter how highly placed, no matter whether they say they are men of God or men or whatever. We need to stop listening to them saying this is a war against a particular part of the society or a particular faith. This is a war against our country. This is when they bombed Yanya, they did not separate Muslims and say, oh, yeah, bomb the Christians. Yeah. They did not separate the Christians and said, oh, yeah, bomb the Muslims. They did not say, yeah, which amongst you are APC members? Oh, yeah, bomb. They bombed them. The bombs did not discriminate. The bombs took everyone. So we have to understand that this is a war against our country, and we have to come together to fight this war. Right now, we have not come together. Go on social media, go on TV. The argument is still about is Muslims that are killing Christians or it's some conspiracy. If we don't do not forget that the guys that are fighting us are united in their evil. So no matter how seemingly good those of us on this side are, as long as we are not united, this evil is always going to prevail against this seeming good. And that's where we have to start. To unite as a people, first of all, for the political class to unite. To look at the military and really, really ask, has the military been undermined? I respect the military. I respect what they're doing, laying their lives on, for us to be secured and everything. But when you look at what has happened over the last few months, you really want to really look at the military again and really ask yourself if the military, some elements of the military have not been compromised. Maybe you should have some reshuffling or something like that. I mean, I don't know, but it does really look like something has to change, something has to shift, something has to give.
Yeah. But on
national security.
On a final note, now I'm still talking about unity and all of that. The one thing that the governors and the enlarged National Security Council meeting seemed to have in common was the fact that they all unanimously sort of condemned the letter written by the governor of Adamawa State, even though he says that he wasn't condemned. I was in the papers today where he said nobody condemned him, but all the governors came out and spoke against what he did and all of that. Do you think that's what we should be looking for going forward now, that sort of united front to fight security?
That's a step in the right direction. Look, it's very, very important. Look, there will always be time for politics. I mean, 2015 elections are coming. There will always be time for all those games and all those stuff. But it's very, very important, whether the president or the governors or even ordinary Nigerians, it's very, very important for us to understand that there are certain issues that politics must not be allowed to come into. There are certain matters that should be about our common humanity, that should be about our country, should be about our interests, and that should be about our interests and our humanity, as a matter of fact. So when we find people, whether they are governors or even so-called pastors or imams or anybody that looks to bring division on matters like this, it's the onus is on every one of us to tell them to shut up. And if they cannot shut up, to continue to keep their to keep their voices down, so that the right voices are the voices that we hear, the voices that say this is a war on our collective civilization, this is a war on our country, and we must fight together as a people, as one humanity, not as all the divisions that have, kept us down as a country over the last 54 years.
Mr. President did say finally that the insurgency is going to come to an end very soon. He's of the PDP. Bukola Saraki, the senator, did say that Nigerians are going to smile again very soon. I saw that in the papers today. But Abu Shakar, who is the head of Boko Haram, says something along the lines of, we're in your city and you don't know where we are. How worried should we be in the next year?
There's no need to say anything that would get Nigerians more worried. Nigerians are already worried. You cannot deny that. You just need to look at what people are doing to their fences, raising fences. Those that can travel are traveling. Nigerians are already worried. There's no question about that. But let's not forget that national security is our responsibility. You know the people that stay on your street. You know the people that stay in your house. Once you find an outside element, quickly, without wasting time, alert someone. We have to. Politicians, look, it's their responsibility to say these things will end very soon and blah, blah, blah. They have to say those things. But let's not fool ourselves. We're at war. And we are not anywhere close to ending that thing today than we were last year or 2 years ago. But citizens must now begin to understand that it's our responsibility to help the government, because actually at the end of the day, we're all the government, to really understand that it's about us. So if you see funny elements around you, like Larry was saying on this show last week, you need to do something about it. It's our responsibility. Otherwise, when it all goes down, we're all going down.
Wow.
And I pray
hope
that
we don't get
happen.
there. Thank you very much, Japheth, for joining us as usual. It's always fun having you around.
Pleasure is mine.
When we come back, we'll be having two global shapers from the Abuja hub right here with us, talking about Shape Africa and other things around the World Economic Forum holding in Abuja in a week. Please do stay with us.